Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's author webinar. Thank you for joining us. My name is Marjorie, and I am part of Elsevier's Learning and Content Management team. Joining me also from the Learning and Content Management team are my colleagues, Anita and Julian. We also have a few colleagues from our researcher support team, Sharon Joy and Jasper Jules as well. Before we begin, a few housekeeping items. Firstly, please take a few moments to complete the poll you will see on your screens. If you have a question at any time during the content of the session, please use the Q&A option to send your question directly to us. We will try to answer as many questions as possible during the session today in the Q&A channel. If we cannot answer all the questions, we will reply to your question directly after the session, unless you post the question anonymously. We'll also cover some of the questions at the end of the session. For the best view, you may wish to drag the central bar on your screen to the right to enlarge the screen that we're sharing, and you may also wish to enable live transcripts via the bar on the bottom of your screen. Finally, our session is being recorded, and you will be sent a link once the recording is ready. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at our agenda for today. We will start by giving you an overview of the author submission process in Editorial Manager. Please note that the steps may vary depending on journal configuration and the type of article being submitted. We will also have a look at how to use Elsevier's declaration tool when submitting a manuscript. This tool quickly and easily helps authors create a comprehensive statement, which incorporates the ICMJE, which is the International Committee of Medical Journal Editors Declaration Standards. The tool will produce a statement in Word form that can be uploaded alongside your manuscript and will appear in your published article. In addition, we will provide a brief explanation of the various editorial statuses your submission may progress through in Editorial Manager. And finally, we will provide information on co-authorship verification. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at Editorial Manager and explore the author's submission process. Please note, I am going to be using our training site for the demonstration. So we will be using test users and test submissions. The training site is a good replica of the live environment, but it will look slightly different to your own profile. So please don't worry if you don't see things today that you normally see when you log into your profile, as this may be due to the rights and permissions granted for each journal that may vary journal to journal. So we'll go ahead and switch over to the Editorial Manager test site here. Okay, so if you are a new user in Editorial Manager, you can click on the register link, the register now link located here. To register with the journal. You can also click the register link at the top right-hand corner of the journal as well. If you are already a registered user and you would like to retrieve your username, you can click on Send Login Details located beneath the login fields. If the system finds a matching email address, you will receive an email containing your username and a link to reset your password. So I'm going to go ahead and log in now. Okay, and once you are on the main menu, you can update your information at any point by clicking the Update My Information link, which you may access by clicking your name here in the top right-hand corner. Here at the bottom, there's a link, Update My Information. You can use that to update your profile details. If there's a change in institution, it's not required to create a new Editorial Manager account. Rather, you can just click on this link to update your information, and you can update your affiliation details, email address, etc., which will prevent you from having duplicate accounts for a single journal. Okay, and before submitting your manuscript, please always check the journal requirements via the instruction for authors link. From your main menu, you can access that by clicking the About drop down here, and then you can access the link Instructions for Authors. Okay, and these instructions will contain guidelines on manuscript word counts, file requirements and other important information for your submission. So it is important to familiarize yourself with those instructions for the journal. Okay, so once you are ready to begin the submission process for your paper, you can go ahead and click Submit Manuscript. You can do that from here in the navigation bar. Submit a Manuscript will take you directly to the submission page, or you can click this first link here, Submit a Manuscript. And just to note, as we're journeying through Editorial Manager today, you'll see these eye icons pop up, and they will provide additional information, usually related to the link they're located next to. For this particular one, I just want to point out there is a full video that you can watch here that will show you these steps as well in detail. So if at a later date you want to go back, you can watch this video that you can access via this eye icon as well. So we'll go ahead and click Submit New Manuscript. Okay, once you click this link, as you can see here, it's showing me that I do have some submissions in process. If you started a submission but didn't complete it, when you click Submit a Manuscript, the system will show you those submissions and give you the option to go ahead and continue a submission. So I'm going to go ahead and continue the submission here. So I'll click Select and Continue. Otherwise, you can click No, Start a New Manuscript. Okay, and so from this first step, you're going to be asked to select your article type here. Okay, you want to select the relevant article type from the drop-down menu. If you're submitting to a special issue, please ensure you select the appropriate special issue or the appropriate article type. So I'm going to select full-length article here. Okay, you may also be asked to link to your ORCID ID, which is what's going to be shown here. Okay, once you are ready, you can go ahead and click Proceed. The next step is going to be the Attach Files step here. Please attach all the files you wish to include within your submission at this step. You may use the Browse link here to access your computer's files, or you can drag and drop your files here from your computer to attach the primary file for the submission. Okay. So first, you want to go ahead and upload your primary manuscript file. Mandatory file types are indicated with an asterisk. So if I click this drop down, they'll be listed here with an asterisk. Okay, mandatory file types will also be shown here in red. And once you submit them, they will turn green there. If you select research data when available from the drop down, as doing so here, you'll be asked to enter the URL where your data is going to be hosted. And you'll also be asked to provide additional information such as repository name, source of the data, and title of the data set as shown here. In the future, it will also become possible to upload data directly into Mendeley data. Also, for some journals, there may be a cover letter as a mandatory file type. If so, a cover letter is going to be a simple, brief business letter designed to introduce your manuscript to a prospective editor. If the guide for authors does not specify what you should include in your cover letter, you may wish to include, for example, special considerations that should be given to the paper, a brief background regarding the research involved or how the data was collected, details of any previous concurrent submissions. It's also useful to provide the editor-in-chief with any information that will support your submission. So, for example, original or confirmatory data, relevance, or topicality. When uploading the files, you do want to ensure, and let me switch back here to the main files here. But when uploading your files, please ensure the appropriate file type is selected from the item dropdown. So if I'm going to upload my declaration of interest or my manuscript file, you want to be sure that you click that first, and then you can go ahead and upload that file. Once you upload the files, you can edit the description here. This is an editable field. but please ensure not to use any personal identifiers in your description of your files. That also includes in your file types as well when you're uploading them. Please be sure that there are no personal identifiers. The system will automatically order your files into the order designated by the journal. So and also for some journals, the declaration of interest, as you see over here, is a mandatory file type. I will explain this in more detail in a few minutes, but in either event, such a statement is mandatory from an ethics perspective. We also have a short video on using the declaration tool in Editorial Manager that will walk you through those steps as well. So again, just please take a note of where we see this declaration of interest option here in this link, and we'll come back to this shortly. Once all your files are uploaded, you can go ahead and click proceed. Okay, so here on the next screen, the general information step, it will have differing requirements depending on your journal. You may be asked, for example, to select your region of origin, a section or category, and classifications related to your submission. Classifications are fixed terms created specifically for the journal you are submitting to, and these are different from keywords. Keywords are going to be the free text that you can add in the manuscript data step. Once you've provided the required information here, you can go ahead and click proceed. Depending on the journal's requirements, you will see different options as well in the review preferences step. You may have the option, for example, to request an editor to handle your paper. You may also see the option to suggest potential reviewers for your submission. You may also see the option to oppose reviewers who you would not prefer to review your submission. Please note that these are preferences only. The editor may or may not use the suggestions. Once you have provided the necessary information, again, you would just go ahead and click proceed. This next page that is going to come up here is going to be the additional information page. Let's just give it one moment here. But once it does come up, it will present you with questionnaires, which the journal uses to collect useful information. So when the questions do come up, you will just go ahead and respond to each of these questions as appropriate. And then once you've answered all of these questions, you can go ahead and click proceed here as well. The next step that is going to come up is going to be the comments section. And what this page is going to do is give you an opportunity to enter any additional comments for the journal office. And so if you do have any additional comments you want to add, you can go ahead and just enter them in this field. It's a free text field for you. These comments will not appear directly in your submission. So you can just go ahead and add any additional comments there. After answering those, you can go ahead and click proceed. So this step here, the manuscript data, the system is going to automatically extract and pull data from the manuscript file attached to pre-populate the fields on this page. Required fields are marked with a red asterisk, but again, it will pull any available information directly from your manuscripts. So as you can see, we have abstract information here, keywords that are pulled. It's also going to pull in this information as well. Just a point to note about the author information. Please enter all of the authors of the submission here, including their name, current contact email address, and institution. So when you are adding authors here on this section, I'm just going to click to show you what this will look like here. As you can see, the information is available here. Once you see the institution section here, it's important to choose your institution from the drop down. As doing so, you might be eligible to receive institutional and societal discounts based on the institution that you enter, and they can reduce your article publishing charges for gold open access. So I just want to show you how the institution will pop up here. In addition, when adding authors, please be sure to select their contributor roles if applicable. Co-authors may receive an email notification from the journal after being added as a co-author for the submission. And we also do have a video specific for co-author verification that will go into further detail there as well. So once you do have your authors entered or your author entered, you can click save. And once you have a list of authors here, you can reorder them by clicking and dragging this blue section with the white lines on it. So if I had multiple, I can click and drag them to reorder them as needed. Okay, and this next section here below, you want to add the funding information for your research or simply confirm if there's no funding information available. If you would like to save and submit later, you can click the button Save and Submit Later and it'll save it. And then when you return back, you can continue. Otherwise, you can go ahead and click Build PDF for approval. Okay, so as we're doing that, I just want to add, some journals do encourage authors to view and select appropriate open access publishing options at submission. Further information is provided if and when additional publishing options are available. And should those options be presented, you can go ahead and select the appropriate option and click Proceed with the submission process as described. Okay. So as you can see now, our submission PDF is actually still being built here. But once it is built, we would first need to view the submission before you can approve it. So sometimes you may, authors do often click Approve Submission here, and it won't let you approve it until you view it. So first you want to go ahead and view the submission. It'll download it for you. And then once you view it, then it will allow you to go ahead. As you can see, it downloaded here. You can click and view. And once done, you also want to view the ethics and copyright terms and confirm that you accept those as well. And then at that point, you can go ahead and click the Approve Submission. Okay, this is just reminding us that the system is asking for the ORCID ID information. If you haven't done so, you can go ahead and update your information there, or you can go ahead and proceed without. Okay, we're going to say, okay, we are sure we want to approve the submission. Okay, and once complete, now our submission is submitted to the journal for consideration. You will receive an email confirmation. If for any reason you would like to edit your submission file after submission, you will want to contact the journal manager, and they will be able to update your submission file. You won't be able to do so directly after it is submitted. If you would like more information on the submission process, again, you can watch the author submission process video. Okay. And in addition, I did want to point out that we do have a resource center options available. As you can see here, this question mark icon here will give you access to the resource center. Okay. And when contacting support, we do have this option here where you can directly link with Elsevier support via chat. So we'd like you to please consider using the chat option for immediate assistance with login and account queries. Okay, so next we're just going to return to the submission process and just take a look at that declaration tool in a little more detail. As mentioned before, some journals, this is a mandatory file type. Okay, so let's say I was submitting a new submission. So in this case, I'm going to say no, start a new submission. And I'm going to select my article type again and proceed to the next step, which is going to be the attached file step. And again, we'll see that option for the declaration tool there on the left side. Okay, so if we want to use this tool, we would click Declaration of Interest Form. And if I click it, it will open up this page. So you'll be able to access this page here. Transparent disclosure of potential competing interests is essential to meeting your ethical obligations and nurturing trust in science. Elsevier does now offer this declaration tool and editorial manager that quickly and easily helps authors create a comprehensive statement, which incorporates the ICMJE, International Committee of Medical Journal Editors Declaration Standards. This statement can be uploaded as a Word doc alongside your manuscript and will appear in your published article. Okay, so again, it's going to be able to be accessed through that submission link. You also will be able to access through your journal's guide for authors as well. Okay, so once you're taken to this page, you can read further information about declaring your interest. And you also can scroll down here, see that information. And when you're ready, you can click Start My Declaration. For some journals, this is not all. Some journals have an option for you to directly just enter, I have nothing to declare. And if you do that, then it'll generate that statement for you saying you have nothing to declare. But of course, you would only want to use that when you're confident that you and your co-authors have nothing to declare. For other journals, when the button is not available, you can indicate you have nothing to declare on each page, as you will see. So when you're ready, you can go ahead and click Start My Declaration. So I'm going to click Start My Declaration here. And it's going to take you to this first page, which is research support for this reported work. On this page, you can declare any support you or any of your co-authors received from certain types of third parties since the initial conception of this research. Note that you don't need to list academic institutions or public funding sources from charitable foundations or government agencies here. You may fill in the details of this support by typing the organization name and selecting any relevant financial or non-financial support. If you need to add another funding source, you can do so by clicking Add Another Funding Source down here and filling in the details. You will also need to add when you receive the report, who received the support. If your research did not receive any additional support that should be declared, you may use the button here to toggle off. So once you start entering the organization name, organizations will populate here. You can enter the organization. You can say what type of support you receive, so financial or non-financial support. You can indicate specifically what those types of support are, as well as you can enter the author name here that received the support directly, if it's you as the co-author, you as the corresponding author or co-author. Again, if you don't have anything to report here, you can just turn this option off. Okay, and just saying that you did not receive any research support for this reported work. Okay, so when ready, you can go to the next step, other support. Okay, so once you get to the next step, other report here. Okay, I'm sorry, just wanted to point out here, you also, as you're going through these steps, you can at any point save your declaration for later. It'll ask for your email address and you can come back to it to go ahead and continue through. Okay. Okay, so under relevant support outside of this reported work, that's going to be the next step. You should disclose if you or any of your co-authors have any financial interest or personal relationships related to the subject matter, but not directly to the manuscript. The time frame that we're referring to here is within the last 3 years. Again, you will go ahead and fill in the relevant fields, or you can go ahead and toggle off, okay, if you have nothing to declare here. Okay, so then we will go on to the next step, intellectual property. Okay, the patents and intellectual property page allows you to disclose any relevant patents or copyrights licensed to you or any of your co-authors. Once you have either filled this in or press the toggle off to indicate you have nothing to declare, you can go ahead and click on the next option at the bottom, which is going to be other activities. Other activities at the final page of this tool. where you can submit any further information that a reader could perceive to have influenced the work that has not been covered in the previous pages. And of course, once you have either filled this in or toggled off to indicate you have nothing to declare, you can go ahead to the next step, which is reviewing your declaration. Okay, so this next page is going to summarize all the information you've provided. You may click the back button if you need to go back and make any changes here, or you can go ahead and submit and download if you're happy with the content. So when you do, click that is going to ask for you to go ahead and enter optionally your email address to save your declaration statement. You will receive the same prompt if you wish to save your progress as mentioned. If you do this, you'll be prompted to enter the one-time passcode, and you can then download your declaration. You can also go back to this tool and download the declaration again for the next 30 days if you use this option. If you don't want to enter that information, that's fine. You can also just click no thanks. You want to download it without saving it. Just please note, if you do enter no thanks, then it won't be saved here. So you'll need to re-enter that information if you need it again. So I'm going to click no thanks. I want to download a declaration without saving it. And as you can see, it just downloaded it here in the bottom left corner. So after you download your statement, and you'll be able to view it, or you can go ahead. I'm just going to bring this over so you can take a look at. It's just going to be I didn't have much to declare here. So as you can see, it's not much listed, but otherwise it will have more information here, and you can simply just upload this file with your submission at the attached file step in Editorial Manager. And it will download that as a Word doc. Okay. And once you are uploading that, make sure that you select the file type declaration of interest. Okay. So in 1 second, I'm going to try to reload this page here. Okay. As you saw on the previous step, there's usually going to be an option here for you to click the file type that you want to upload. So that's what I am attempting to show you here on this next step. Okay. Okay, so once you do upload that information again, if you want to go back and access it in the future, you can do that up until 30 days. Okay, so that is how you're going to use the declaration tool in Editorial Manager. I'm actually going to go ahead and switch back over to my slides here to talk you through the various editorial statuses your submission could progress through in Editorial Manager. Okay, so in terms of the various editorial statuses that your paper is going to progress through, after an author finishes writing the paper and submitting it to the journal, the system will show the status of the manuscript as manuscript submitted. Okay, that's going to be that first option that you'll see available there. The system shows the status of manuscript submitted, and then based on the workflow of the journal, the editorial office or editor will perform a technical check on your manuscript. They will check the manuscript word count, format, and figure quality, etc. The next step is going to be to either the paper either being assigned to the editor-in-chief or an associate editor for further handling. Journals usually have multiple associate editors who are experts in a particular niche within the broader subject area. Your manuscript will be handled by the editor who has the highest level of understanding and experience with your paper's research topic. The status remains with editor until the editor either makes a decision or invites reviewers. So next, the handling editor has different actions, again, that they can make. They can either make a reject decision or send the paper for revision or invite reviewers. The editor will conduct an initial screening of your paper and assess it against several different criteria, such as novelty, priority, and scope. If your paper is a better match for another journal, you may be offered a manuscript transfer. Also, it is possible that your paper does not meet some of the assessment criteria, and then the editor will reject it before going into peer review. If the editor decides that your paper is a good match for their journal, they will identify 2 or 3 independent reviewers, depending on the journal configuration, and send them an invitation to review your manuscript. When the editor invites reviewers, the status of the manuscript will change to under review. Once the required number of reviews are received and recommendations were submitted, the status of the manuscript will then show as required reviews complete. The handling editor carefully studies the review reports. It can happen that the referee reports are conflicting, and in that case, the editor will need to find additional reviewers. When this happens, your submission returns to under review status. Once the editor has received enough high-quality feedback from the reviewers, they will begin the decision-making process and move the status to decision in process. The decision may need to be confirmed by multiple editors in some journals. The manuscript will then move to the editor-in-chief's account for that step. Okay. The next step, the editor is going to submit their decision. This could be the editor-in-chief. Your submission may also receive different decisions, okay? The first that we're going to cover is a revise decision. The editor has requested that you revise the submission. You'll find the details of changes required and the deadline for your revision in the decision letter. You also can receive accept or reject. Submission process has completed with either an accept or reject decision. In the case of an accept decision, the manuscript will begin its production process and you will receive further information. Transfer pending. You will see this option if the editor has rejected your paper and suggested to transfer it to another journal. The editor has recommended the submission be transferred to another journal via our automatic article transfer service, and you are offered a transfer. We will await your response before proceeding, and that is going to be that transfer pending option. Once you've accepted that transfer, then it's going to change to submission transfer. And that would again mean you've accepted the transfer and the submission is now transferred to another journal. We have also published a video on Submission Status Explainer, which again will explain how your submission progresses after submitting your manuscript, and it'll explain each of those steps as well. And we're going to share the link of the video in the chat section. We also have another option for tracking your submission as well. We've now introduced a submission tracker tool to more than 2,000 journals. Once a journal is using submission tracker, and again, this is not implemented on all journals just yet, an email is sent to the corresponding author when the first reviewer is invited. As you can see from this screenshot, the email contains a link to the submission tracker landing page where the author can view the status of the review process of their submission. Note that the same link will remain active throughout the end-to-end peer review process. We do expect to have the submission tracker tool available to all journals in the near future. So you may see this, have access to this with your journal that you're submitting to. If not, we do expect to have this for all journals in the near future. And again, I just want to show you where the submission tracker will take you. So this is what the landing page will look like. From here, you can monitor the complete status of your manuscript. Okay, and next we just wanted to briefly talk about once you do receive an accept decision for your submission, we just want to share some information with how to handle potentially fraudulent acceptance letters that may be sent out. At Elsevier, we want to help all our authors to stay safe when publishing. We also are aware there are a number of scams in operation which seek to fraudulently obtain money from authors. Typically, these take the form of emails purporting to be from a journal's editorial office asking the authors to pay a fee. Often this request is made at the same time as announcing that the paper has been accepted for publication, even though in reality, it's usually still in the editorial review workflow process. So I wanted to share on screen just some tips on how you can avoid this. We don't want anyone to be, scammed or receiving any type of fraudulent acceptance letter. So we just want you to be aware of these when publishing your submission. I'll share this on screen so that you can read through, but I do want to point out just quickly that briefly through these points that all legitimate emails from Elsevier will come from an elsevier.com address. So if you're receiving any email address, any email from other sources, you can disregard those as they're not coming directly from Elsevier. If you're not expecting a communication or you already know your paper is at a different stage in the process, you want to be wary of anything that's letting you know your paper has been accepted. You can always, view the progress of your submission in Editorial Manager or by using the submission tracker as mentioned. Also wanted to point out that especially if you have not chosen open access gold journal, you should be wary of any communication requesting that you transfer money or requesting payment at all. If you did choose a gold open access journal, Elsevier will only ask for payment after your paper has been accepted for publication. Again, I'll leave these on screen for you to review these a little bit, but we just want to point these out in terms of any fraudulent acceptance letters that may be sent or received. Okay. When submitting, authors are asked, again, I want to go over that co-authorship verification step. Authors are asked to list all the co-authors of the submission. Editorial Manager journals do request co-authors confirm their co-authorship, as this helps to ensure that authorship includes all individuals who have made a significant contribution to the conception, design, execution, or interpretation of the manuscript. So this is stating, how do I verify my contribution as a co-author? Request to verify may be for a new submission or a revised submission. The journal will send co-authors an email notification, which includes deep links to verify co-authorship. Some journals will ask that you also register or log in to confirm your co-authorship, which will also allow you to view the status of the submission. This is only true for some journals. There are other journals where you may be asked to confirm your co-authorship, but you may not have access to view the submission. This does depend on journal configuration. Some journals will ask that you also register or log in to confirm it, which will also, again, allow you to view the status of your submission on your author main menu from the folder Submissions Being Processed. Depending on the journal configuration, you may also receive up to 2 reminders to verify your co-authorship. And again, we do also have a video related to co-author verification, and it is hosted on YouTube, as well as the support center, and the link of that will be posted, if not already done so, in the chat as well. Okay, I also wanted to just briefly mention the author guide that is available. And this link is also going to be posted in chat as well. But I did want to open that up and just show you. One moment, I'll show you the author guide available in our support hub for authors. And it's going to be available in our publishing support center. And this guide is just going to provide you with a learning pathway that includes links to instructional videos and videos for you. Okay, so this link is going to be shared in the chat. It's our author guide to Editorial Manager. And so it will briefly talk you through these steps. And if you click any of these drop downs, it'll show you not only articles that are available, but also any videos that are available as well. So for example, if I wanted more information on submitting my manuscript, I can click something that says, how do I get started with the new submission? And it'll show me any articles that are available that you can read or any videos. So if you prefer reading the article over the video, those links are available as well. Just letting you know here to go through this full process. It'll take approximately 2 hours, or you can, just click through and watch the videos or read the articles as you wish to do so. And that does bring us to the end of our webinar. After this session, we will send you an email that will contain helpful links to the webinar recording, as well as some of those video guides that were mentioned and that relate directly to the topic today. So please look out for that email. And again, a gentle reminder to take a quick moment for that poll. If you have a few seconds, it'll be very helpful to us. And your answers will help us to deliver more webinars like this one. Thank you all for joining so much, and see you all next time. Thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.